So remember, vows are not equal to personal power. So if you want to have your own personal power of divine self expression, divine communication, if you don't want to be in relationships with people or yourself where you are lying or keeping secrets or feeling like you can't speak up for yourself or can't speak your truth or always shut down when people ask you your opinion or you're terrified to speak in public or any of those things plus more, then there might be a potential that you have a vow that we can remove. Hi, beloved. My name is Tamala Malay, your empowerment partner, professor, and psychic. And today we're going to talk about vows and how vows can really disempower us. And we get to find out if we have any past life or present life vows that are creating blocks and restrictions for us through the Akashic records. So let's get started. So, when we talk about vows, there are a number of different ones that really disempower us. Now, a vow is a heartfelt promise that we make either to God or to someone who we perceive as a representative of God. And what happens is we mean this vow, right? It's a promise that we really, 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 really mean. And when we take this vow, we commit to it at a soul level. And what happens is if we don't resolve that vow, if we don't complete um, that karmic cycle within the lifetime that we took that vow, when we die and come back and reincarnate into future lives, that vow will still be running for us. So we'll have situations in our current life that don't make sense to us as a result of past life blocks and restrictions like vows. So, what are a few types of vows? Well, there's vows of poverty, vows of silence, there's vows of sacrifice or suffering, there's marriage vows, there's all kinds of vows that really can disempower us. And I want to stop for a minute and talk about marriage vows. Now, the commitment to one another can be a wonderful, beautiful thing. But if you remember, in America's past and in the past of most countries on the planet, for a female, when she took marriage vows, she actually was handing her personal power over to her husband. So the husband now became the decision maker for us. So that means that that soul, that female that incarnated as a female at that time and took that vow, they handed over their power to their husband. And if they didn't resolve that during that lifetime, when they reincarnate, they can still feel disempowered because they literally, truly, honest to God, deeply at soul level, gave their power over to this other person. And how that shows up is they'll have difficulties in this life making decisions for themselves, making choices and not changing their mind 47 times. Having difficulty with being in a position of leadership, having difficulty of being or feeling overwhelmed when they're put in charge of a particular situation, right? Those are just some little minor examples of how a past life vow can really show up for us in this lifetime. Now, most of the time, when we take other vows, those vows of poverty or obedience or silence or the list of them, usually we have done those when we have participated in cults or religions or societal organizations in the past. And in order to join them, we had to take these vows. So there's a lot of times it comes up where people have, maybe they've joined the church and they took vows to God. Okay. And we think, gosh, that would be a wonderful thing. But let's say you took a vow of silence. Okay. And a lot of The monasteries back in the day were silent monasteries. So that means that you gave up your right to speak, right? Your divine self expression. So if your primary energy center or your soul purpose is divine self expression or divine truth or divine wisdom, and those are expressed through speaking, but you have a soul level vow of silence, it's going to be excruciatingly disempowering for you. So not only is it going to be disempowering, but it's going to be continuing to separate you and separate you and separate you from your own divinity, which means you're going to have a hard time creating any type of abundance in your experience through your self-expression. And so what we have to do, if we have any of these vows, no matter what they are, is we go into the Akashic records, we see if you have any, and if you do, we clear them out. And we clear them out in the records, and then I give you homework to do that you do every day for 21 days to reclaim your own personal power, to release these vows, to reacquaint yourself with the energy and the resonance of your own divine self-expression. So remember, vows are not equal to personal power. So if you want to have your own personal power of divine self-expression, divine communication, if you don't want to be in relationships with people or yourself where you are lying or keeping secrets or feeling like you can't speak up for yourself or can't speak your truth or always shut down when people ask you your opinion or you're terrified to speak in public or any of those things plus more, then there might be a potential that you have a vow that we can remove. So why do we look for vows in the Akashic records? Well, the Akashic records are a library or a collection of all of our thoughts, words, and deeds from the moment that we were individuated from source until present. So if there's any blocks and restrictions that we have, we can find them in the Akashic records because that's where they keep them all, right? They're all there. They're all listed for us. We can go and find them and see, okay, when did you create this particular block and restriction? What lifetime? What was the situation? You can acknowledge it. You can say, okay, I'm ready to let that go. I don't need that anymore. And we can release it and clear it out. So vows are only one of the things that we can look for in the Akashic records, but they are a very big block and restriction. So we talked about a few minutes ago about these vows separating us from our own personal power, and that's true. But remember, we've done it on purpose. Vows are commitments, these soul level covenants that we make with other people outside of ourselves, other people, that we really desperately, truly at soul level mean, that were never resolved before we died, and there was some kind of ritual involved. So usually when you join the church, there's a ritual there. If you get married, there's a ritual with the marriage vows. So it's not something that happens accidentally. Okay, this is something that is generally witnessed and agreed to by other people as well. So it's always a choice. So it's really important to understand that vows are something that we chose to do. And we chose it in that moment because it was the option that we had at the time. And the way that we understood it was that it was going to be awesome for us, right? It's going to be wonderful. We're going to join the church and serve God. And at that lifetime, it may have been a wonderful experience for us, but we didn't end it before we died. So it's still alive for us. It's still true for us. So that doesn't mean that we have to go and join the church or give up all of our worldly goods and go live in a cave somewhere. That's not what it means. All it means is that we get to really identify, okay, I feel complete with that. I understand how I created it. I understand why I created it because we've looked in the Akashic records to find it. And I really am okay to let that go. Now, if you're not ready to let that go, that's something that we deal with in coaching and in walking you through some healing processes to get you to the point where you can be ready to let these things go. So, if you have experiences of poverty that don't make sense to you, that you only ever have just enough or less, or if you feel like you always have to follow the rules, but you're also really rebellious at the same time, if you feel like you have to sacrifice all the time in order to get what you want, all of those are examples of how vows can show up for us in our current life. So if you want to have a session and find out if you have any vows or other blocks and restrictions, please make sure that you contact me. And if you are watching this video during October 2020, there is a coupon for you where you can actually have an awesome savings. So that coupon code is October 2020. So you'll use that to either receive a savings on the full session, right? The full long um, 5 hour session, right? We get together and basically spend the day together going through how amazing you are for the first 2.5 hours, and then any blocks and restrictions to your awesomeness for the second 2.5 hours. Or you can do it in 2 days. So we'd split it up over 2 days. And so that coupon will work for either one of those. If you are doing a next level, which means you've already had the initial one and you're coming to clear out the next layer of stuff, there's also a coupon for you. Now, if you're not sure about this Akashic Record stuff, but you would like to find out your soul purpose, there's a jump start, and there's also a coupon for that for October 2020. Remember, all of these savings are going to be only during October of 2020. But if you're watching this after that and you want to connect with me and see what specials are going on and what's happening and have a session and all that good stuff, you can reach out to me at Awaken at yourempowermentplace.com or visit my website at yourempowermentplace.com. So for the fair energy exchange for today's lesson, please subscribe if you're not already subscribed, comment, give me a thumbs up, and share this with anyone that you think could benefit.